Thanks for checking out the Rumours and Laws podcast, driven by the Ford Ranger Raptor, inspired by desert racing. Ford Ranger Raptor has been developed by the Australian design and engineering team with Ford Performance DNA for true enthusiasts.
Get all the news you need.
104.7 Triple M.
Hello, Adelaide.
No one knows Adelaide like these guys. Triple M Breakfast with Rumours and Laws.
Overnight news.
Well, we mentioned the golf record crowds, 93,000 down at Grange over the weekend.
Insane.
Look, I couldn't believe how successful it was and just how good it was and the atmosphere and just everything about it. Amazing.
Yep. Enough toilets and not enough all that sort of stuff.
That probably could be improved, actually.
There were a lot of lines for bars and people were spent a lot of the time of the day in line. I think there was a lot of people there.
That's probably expected when you have the bigger crowd, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. And the weather was perfect. The golf was great.
Yeah.
Television coverage awesome.
The Rippers won the team event.
Aussies got up.
The Rippers.
Just didn't get a hole in one. Come on, guys.
Gee, it was close.
I know.
Did they?
Some very close.
Really?
It was exciting, yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't know if I absorbed any of the golf at all, but I absorbed the energy, and it was very, like Fisher. I actually had to leave. I couldn't stay for Fisher because there were so many people there, and I couldn't find my mates because you lose reception.
Yeah, right.
And once again, it's just great promotion of Adelaide all around the
I
world.
know.
It was.
Which is
Thousands
what
of
it's
people.
all
It was
about,
awesome.
really.
All
At
right,
the
we'll
end
talk
of the
more
day.
about that a little bit later on. Now, we mentioned the disciplining classes with sit still, pay attention, sit up straight, all of those things. I remember as a little kid, early minute, if you're the first to clear your desk and sit with your arms folded and sit up with a straight back, you can have an early minute. Do we want to go back to that sort of thing or not?
I think
Are they not doing that now?
probably.
Doesn't seem like it.
I feel like there's probably, the majority of kids in classes are well behaved. There's usually a few wild outliers. We had a couple of those. I might have been one of them every now and then.
But reading stories this morning of a 7-year-old
got out of
attacking a
control.
teacher and things like that has to stop,
Classroom
surely.
violence we've been hearing about, teachers getting physically and verbally abused.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't
it's
be
full
doing
on.
stuff like that.
No.
That's just garbage.
No.
No, it's no good. And I don't know, where does the buck stop? Like the parents are now, I feel like it's a different time. When I was a kid, parents immediately believed teachers. There was no...
It's the other way around there.
Yeah,
isn't
it's the other way around. I mean, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong either way, but
It's got to be both.
a bit of both. But
I'll tell you, this is a real general sweeping statement, right? But from my experience, what happens in this day and age, whether it's at the local sporting event with your kid's sport or whether it's the classroom, the parents now say, no, my kid's in the right. And they go in and bat for their kids like 100%. In my day as a kid, the old man would say to me,
gotta be
try harder, mate, bad luck.
You got to be balanced, don't you?
we had both in our growing up. There was the parents who just thought their kids' poo didn't stink,
That's right.
even though it reeked.
Yep.
And then there were kids who probably weren't the villain, and their parents went, "Oh, you just do what you're bloody told."
That's right.
Listen to respect your elders. And I think sometimes what happens is when I was growing up, there were kids who were picked on by teachers quite aggressively.
There'll always be that, though, won't there?
They will, but I think maybe those kids grew up, had kids, and now they think teachers are. You know what I mean?
They're the
Like-
minority, though. Kids that get picked on.
Yeah, but I think they've grown up and sort of maybe, or they were like me and witnessed it and went, oh, well, it happened to me too in a couple of classes, and you sort of now when you think,
Why were you getting picked on?
because my teacher did not like me because I was unorganised and I forget things and which was annoying, of course. Did I have to stand in the bin? I don't know if that was necessary. Did I have to just sit outside in the
Your
rain?
trash.
Yeah,
Get in the
it was
bin.
literally. She said, "You're trash." So
Probably shouldn't have keyed the car. Though,
that's
was it?
exactly right. Didn't need to take a poo on the bonnet. But hey, thousands of people have gathered around the country in rallies for violence against women. They want to stand up to it, want to do something about it. We're in a bit of a national crisis, according to the Prime Minister. 26 women have died this year. That's almost 2 a week. And that's just the deaths.
What can we do about this, Loz?
Oh, God. We need
Seriously, why is it? What are we not doing that's
I think
causing these murders?
respect. I think issues with
How
mental
do we
health.
change that?
We need to teach people. We also need to hold men accountable in our friendship groups. If we hear something, we see something, don't make excuses for them.
Do we know
reckon that happens
are drugs
now?
and alcohol a big part of this or not?
I think they
Or
obviously.
we just got angry, bad men out there.
I think they play a huge role.
Massive role.
I think that obviously there's an issue where men, for whatever reason, and there's a
Stress.
multitude of reasons, aren't good at communicating their feelings,
Yep.
keep things bottled up, and they take it out on the people around them. Makes them feel powerful, makes them have control, is their release. And it's always the people closest to you who cop that. I mean, anyone knows that, even if you're not violent. You know, I think of the worst tantrums I've ever thrown, they've been with the people that I care about most.
Yeah.
Because I, know they're always going to be there. But unfortunately, they're taking it out on their home, and it's...
Is it getting worse in Australia, or is it just
Statistically, it is.
the same?
Well, statistically, it's getting worse, or we're just actually listening to women now and
They're not hiding it. They're
not
coming
hiding
out
it
a
as
bit
much
more.
more. But it's just a
Is
very...
the murder rates going up or not?
I think they are going up, but again, are they now attributed to, the truth of the situation as opposed to something else? But the situation is just impossible for women, because when they leave, they're at most at risk. If they stay, people go, "Why did you stay?"
Yep.
And you're held responsible as a woman for not angering them. Did you provoke them? What were you wearing? What did you say? All this stuff.
Yep.
As opposed to the onus being put on men to change, it's always about how do we enable them better. But I think this conversation needs to be more men holding other men accountable. When they see something, if they notice something's wrong with their friend, they're not acting normal, if they feel like they can tell that they're being weird around their kids and their wife, talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them to get help.
Yep.
Don't just ignore it because it's hard to talk about.
Well, from
said.
a bloke's perspective, I think blokes in general would not accept any of their mates doing anything
No.
violent to their partner.
Not at all.
Certainly not in the the country blokes I live with or the city blokes that I know of. So, yeah, I don't know.
Just finally, in overnight news, remember Arj Barker about a week ago asked a mother and her baby to leave. Well, he's done another couple of gigs since.
This whole thing's been a little intense, like I said, but it's going pretty good, although in this area over here, I could hear someone's stomach rumbling. And so I just want you to know this is your last warning. About 12 seats back, and on that side, it's gentlemen. When you inhale, there's a slight whistling with your nose.
There you go.
Get the out. I got to get home because I still have about 2,400 unread emails in my hate mailbox. And
Good. I don't think he's copped any heat for this.
No, I think
reckon
it's
he's come
actually
out
been
all
quite
right,
good
Arj.
for him, yeah.
You reckon?
The 18th at Grange, Cam Smith's bogey hole.
But ultimately, what a show of talent, the poise of true Aussie grit.
This is unreal. It is a dream come true for us.
An amazing 3 days down at Grange. In fact, longer than 3 days. They have the Pro-Am and the practice rounds and whatever. People have flocked from all over the world for this. Now, I just want to ask, what did we all take from it? One thing I took over the weekend was I went Friday and then Saturday I watched it all day on TV, and I thought the TV coverage was incredible, but it went worldwide.
Yeah.
And what they kept putting up were all of these messages from people sitting in their lounge rooms all over the world saying, I want to go to Grange. I want to go to Adelaide. I love it. How good does this look? So for me, that's just a big part of what we've achieved over the last few days.
Majority of it, isn't it? That's why the Premier's doing it. He's not doing it for the golf. He doesn't care about golf.
No.
He cares about the economy and the vibe of the
Tourism.
city, and everything that flows from it.
Reputation.
And that couldn't have been any better. Like, it's just Adelaide, all over the world with good weather. Every golfer, every tourist just talking positively, just like Gather Round.
You went down there, Loz. Now, you're not a golfer. What did you take out of the weekend?
I liked it better this year. Last year I was confused and disoriented, and I didn't understand how
But that was because you drank too much.
No, this was pre that, actually. I think that was the problem, was that I was very irritated and I hadn't had a drink yet. And I got there. I don't understand golf. Didn't know, how do I get across the green? Why do I have to wait? Like, what's going on? Everyone was shushing me because I was talking the wrong way. Anyway, this year I knew the rules a bit better. And I actually really enjoyed it. And, I just like watching people who are passionate about something, enjoy it. It's really...
But from a fan point of view, things like Fisher and they had Tones and I one night as well, big crowds for concerts. There's a lot more to it, isn't there?
There's a lot more to it. I think this year, because there were so many people at Fisher, I mean, I'm not just saying that, never experienced a crowd like that in all of the festivals I've ever been to. It was, there was...
Too hyped.
There were so many people.
Too many people.
You just couldn't get around. It was just like being in a room with the doors all closed. Like, you couldn't get anywhere. And everyone's phone service was completely gone because that's what happened. So I wasn't prepared for that because in my head it was like last year where we all kind of just cruised in and there was a bunch of us there, but it wasn't crazy. Couldn't find any of my mates. So I was just a little bit like, oh, my God, this is crazy. But at the same time, while I was annoyed that I couldn't get close to the stage or anything, I had this weird sense of pride that I knew he'd be standing on the stage looking out and going, bloody hell, I don't think I've ever seen a crowd like this. This is crazy. And this is Adelaide.
Another thing the TV commentators talked about, they said they've never seen a town take on an event like this. So that's where Adelaide's good.
That's
so they
what
said
we do.
On the side of buses, on the side of trams, they said flagpoles in the city, things like that. They've never seen that with a golf event anywhere else in the world either.
But everything we do, everything we get on board, because we don't have as many here, we get right behind and end up making it a great event. And the Tour Down Under, no disrespect to that, but when you go and watch that, which I haven't done, I'll put my hand up, everyone tells me the bikes just go zoom straight past and that's it.
Yeah.
And people go to that.
Yeah.
So, and we've made, right, and that's the day.
You just go, and
that's the day. But we get right behind everything we do. So,
and because it's shotgun, there's always something at every hole. So
Yeah,
you don't have
correct.
to go around.
It's a good concept.
It is a great concept.
A couple other things that happened over the week. The Crows boys went down and met with Bryson DeChambeau, one of the players, and they presented him with a Crows Guernsey. That went viral all over the world. There are photos and pics everywhere of Tex and Jordan Dawson and the Fog. And the other thing that happened, Bubba Watson at the Port Adelaide game, again, he was in the rooms before the game with Port Adelaide, wearing a scarf, did a story himself and posted it worldwide. So the commentators on the golf were talking about Port Adelaide versus the Saints, and they know nothing about AFL.
Yeah.
Well, there's a LIV golfer, I don't even know who the name was, Ditz, but he hit it off the grass at one end, and he had to put it in the 1 metre circle in the centre of the oval to win a car. His first one lobbed perfect length, and then it was a little bit wide. His second one straight in there, so a Port supporter won an MG.
Car.
Are you kidding?
On Friday night.
I think it was Henrik Stenson.
Yeah.
Amazing. But
It was incredible.
from a full round package, it's a monstrous winner for the state.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
anyone out there who going, oh, fix ramping, yep, he's got to fix ramping.
For sure.
But this is fixing Adelaide's reputation. Adelaide's reputation at the moment has never, ever been better as a city.
People want to come here.
It's
And
never happened
Malinauskas
before.
is 100% behind that.
Yeah.
So, yep, fix ramping, but he's absolutely fixing our reputation and driving hospitality and all that stuff.
It's Red, it's online. It's Triple M.
On the phone right now. She's been ringing since 6 o'clock this morning. Your second cousin, Ditz, Port Adelaide's biggest fan, Shazza Dittmar. G'day, Shaz.
Oh, good morning, fellas. How are we?
Massive weekend in Adelaide. Shaz, you'd be a bit worn out. Port having another good win over St Kilda as well.
Oh, look, I'm very, very pleased. Ruined it. Look, sometimes you just got to win ugly, and bloody hell was that an ugly win. I mean, it made Chris Dittmar look like Chris Hemsworth, that win. It was so ugly, it reminded me of my ex-Bazzard. Do you remember him, Ditz?
Yeah.
Head like a dried-up sand shoot.
Yeah.
But look, a win's a win. Unless, of course, the opposition wins, and then it's a big umpire mistake, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, a few injury concerns, Shaz. Did you see, what about the big Jack Higgins tackle on Alir Alirs, left him concussed?
Well, yeah, normally I love big tackles, as you well know. But that was just out of line. I mean, I reckon Alir will still play this week. Obviously, a little concussion has never stopped him in the showdown before, has it? But that's because Port has the best doctors. I mean, we can get knocked out and play 5 days, sometimes even 5 minutes later, right as rain.
Yeah.
What about Rosie did his hamstring? He'd be a bit disappointed about that, Shaz.
Oh, yeah, he'll be right. Didn't he just sign an $8 million deal? I mean, as long as his wallet is tighter than his hammy, I reckon he'll be happy.
All right. Crows are back on the winners list, Shaz, beating North Melbourne down in Tassie.
Yeah, nothing like playing a bunch of witches' hats to get you back in form. Who are you going to beat next week? The Jamaican bobsled team from Cool Running? Whoop-de-doo.
Don't be like that, Shaz. So who's going to win the showdown anyway, do you think? It's on Thursday night.
A Thursday night showdown, absolutely. Just firing on all cylinders. I reckon we will smash the Crows, a bunch of pretty boys, but it's not a home game, so we can't wear the prison bars, which is very unfortunate because it reminds me of my two favourite places, prison and bars.
Yeah, right. Okay. Hey, what about LIV Golf, Shaz? Did you get down to the golf at all?
Yeah, what's going on with all the shoeies? I saw everyone on the news is drinking beer from a shoe. I mean, I've sucked a few drip trades dry at the Alberton, but never a shoe. Even if I had a pair of shoes, I wouldn't drink out of them, boys.
Well, stay out of jail on Thursday night. Have a good night at the footy, Shaz. We'll catch you next week.
Count a pair.
7:12 it is, Rudits and Loz on this Monday morning on Triple M. Hey, just quickly, just something I heard over the weekend. Loz, over the last couple of years, I've been compiling this list of things I'll never, ever say in my lifetime.
Okay, yeah.
And the list started with famous soccer player George Best said, I'm sick of dating Miss Worlds.
Yeah.
Something I'll never say in my life. I was up at Hamilton on holidays a couple of years ago.
Good morning, Jackie. Can I say that?
Sorry?
Can I say good morning, Jackie?
Good morning, Jackie. And, well, yes. I no longer have to date Miss World. That's right. I was at Hamilton on holiday, and publican Bob Rowe walked in, and I looked out at the marina. I said, "Which one's your boat?" He said, "My boat's too big to get into the marina."
Yeah.
They had to send a boat out to pick it up. I thought something else I'll never say in my lifetime is that my boat was too big. Another one happened over the weekend. So my son's friend Ollie was meant to caddy for an American golfer called Pat Perez, who's a real character, and so he was really looking forward to it. This is going back to the Pro-Am, right? He's going to caddy for him. I saw him yesterday. I had to go with Pat Perez. He goes, said he got stuck in Hawaii. His private jet couldn't fly out of Hawaii. He had issues, so he didn't get there. And I thought, there you go.
Stuck
Just add to
in
these
Hawaii.
things I will never say in my lifetime.
Private jet,
my private
you know.
jet couldn't fly out of Hawaii.
How many do they have in
don't.
Adelaide? They had a huge.
Yeah, they reckon Adelaide Airport was full of them over the
So
weekend.
they'd all be flying
All the
on
golfers
their
just
own.
coming on their own plane.
Geez, imagine the carbon footprint of LIV
Oh,
Golf.
let's not go
I
there.
think they're worried about that. It's backed by Saudi people.
They don't care at all, do they?
On Triple M Breakfast with Rudits and Loz.
Did you learn something?
What did we learn?
What did we learn?
We're talking LIV Golf, and we're talking about golf in general here with these stats. Golf is going through a boom. We know that with COVID it sort of kick-started, but it's continued on for some reason. And this is without the LIV Golf stats here in Adelaide, but it's gone up from, in Australia, 2.7 million people played it in the year 2000. It's now up to 3.5 million. So that is a big increase, nearly a 33% increase in a couple of years. And they're not all just playing golf. They're getting involved in driving ranges and mini golf and stuff like that. But there's membership increases and a lot of young people starting to take up the game as well. And in terms of state-by-state growth, South Australia and Tassie are actually leading the way. Now, I reckon that when they bring out the stats at the end of this year, I reckon South Australia will kick on because that hasn't actually got the data, including LIV Golf. So I would have thought that would crank things up here in Australia big time with what's happened with LIV Golf.
I've really seen sort of like the birth and rise of the golf bro. It's not something I ever thought would be a thing, but young blokes who are like, listen to Fisher but also love golf. It's the golf bro has been born.
Right.
You know, they wear visors and, you know, but like that, you know, if they're young, it's bizarre, but it's great. But golf gets its hooks into you, I think. I think it's
addictive.
It is addictive.
Very addictive.
And if you've got the brain, like we always say that Dad was diagnosed with golf, like he has golf, you know, it's incurable. He's never getting rid of it. It's just, he has it, it's not going away, and you either have it or you don't. Like people just like it or they just don't.
I reckon if you play it for more than a month, you're nearly in for a few years.
Yeah. It just gets you. And if you have a good round, you know, you're just chasing that dragon forever. What we learned, I've just stolen this directly from these blokes called Kick It Forward. They have a really funny Instagram page. They're a couple of Aussie blokes, a trio. Anyway, they had a segment where they were talking about dog poo, and they said, when was the last time you saw a white dog poo? And I went, oh my God, that's so true. Because you know how you used to just see white dog poos on the lawn?
Isn't that just old?
Well, here's the thing. It wasn't because they were old. It was because there was a lot of calcium in the old dog food makeups, right? But they've removed that now.
Right.
Oh, too much calcium.
There was a bit too much in the bones and the ground up things. So dog poos don't go white anymore. And I realised that I have not seen a white dog poo on a lawn in maybe 10 years. Right. But in my whole childhood, it was like you knew where the dog poos were because they would go white.
Okay.
And now people are out there looking.
They've changed the food.
They've changed the food. That's why you don't see white dog poo and cat poo.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Calcium in the food.
That's exactly right.
All right, thanks for
It's
that.
not a government conspiracy.
They'll be breaking their legs though soon, and it won't be strong enough.
Strong bones.
Their teeth.
Strong bones. There you go. Hey, what I learned over the weekend, I'm going to shout out to this fella, all right? There's still some really, really good people out there, Okay, so I was having a coffee, and I'm not going to name the place.
Were you worried about?
No.
The population?
Oh, sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, bear with me. So I'm having a coffee, and this young lad walks up to me, and he goes, "Did you park in the car park there?" And at first, I thought, "What's it to you?"
Oh, geez, so you're not one of those good people.
No, well, it's it's Saturday morning. I'm minding my own business.
The world of all gone.
I'm just having a coffee.
What's it to you?
Bloke walks up and he ran. Did you park in that car park there? And it was on those park and display.
Where's this?
I said, "Yep." I'm not allowed to say because it'll dob him in. You'll find out why.
Okay.
And I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "Have you put your ticket on the dashboard?" And again, I'm thinking, "What's it to you?" And I went, "Yeah." And he walked off. Good on him, mate. And he went around and asked everyone, and I quickly worked out he was the parking inspector. He was helping everyone. And he went up to all of these there were these group of old ladies, and I went, "Oh, no, I haven't put my..." He go, "Well, quickly, go and do it." So these ladies got up, went and paid their money.
Group of old ladies and you.
And me. And these are the people I hang out with. Anyway, I watched this bloke, and he went around for ages. So instead of just going around and giving everyone a ticket,
New age.
He came and checked. I thought, what a good bloke. There's this one parking inspector in Adelaide.
He's an outlier.
And I can't tell you what area because he'll get into trouble from his local council. But I thought, what a great lad. And he was really, it turns out.
Did you win bridge?
He was really friendly and nice. I wasn't playing bridge. Anyway.
Where were you Saturday morning?
No, I'm not saying because...
Was he uniformed up? Did he have the vest on?
He had a jumper on, I think, that had the
When you see him out there and they're on their motorbike with their vest.
No, he wasn't one of those. It was a local council area, but what a good bloke. What a good lad.
I'm more interested in where you were. I don't actually care about the bloody... Where were you?
I went for a coffee, all right?
Where?
I'm not saying.
You need to, because now I'm really... I don't care about the parking inspector.
He'll lose his job.
No, he won't.
He will.
We've got a good person at the council directing him, changing the culture and
so there's a real
reputation of these people that have been absolutely... barrage for you.
He's a good lad. Well done.
It's 7:25. Rude It's and Loz on Triple M. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us anytime. Flick us a text 04 885 1047. We might even reply.
There's a text here, anonymous. They want to know where Ditz was on Saturday morning.
Yeah, do they?
Yes.
Well, I'm not saying. I told you. I can't
Respect
say.
to the text line.
Well, I'm respecting the poor lad.
I don't want to get this guy fired. He did you guys a favour by telling you that you're going to get parking tickets, but he probably cost that council a fair bit of money by doing it.
No different to cops warning you for speeding. They do that all the time.
Yeah, but councils are even more.
All right, there's another text here from a no-name. Good morning. Just hoping someone can explain why the showdown is Thursday night. Makes no sense.
All right. Why is it Thursday?
Well, I think it would be the fact that if you play on a Saturday night, which we do quite a bit for showdowns, you can have there's generally two games on, so there might be Essendon v Geelong on another game, and that would draw probably half the crowd away from people who are watching the game on Saturday night. So if there's, say, 1.5 million people watching, you'd have 750 dragged away. On a Thursday night, the whole of the nation will be watching Adelaide Oval. So the eyeballs will be bigger.
Do you think it'll hurt the crowd, though, going through the gates, being a school night?
It makes it very, very hard for country people. There's no doubt about that. Yep. So kids from the country wouldn't come down, but maybe the folks still would, potentially. But I think more people will go in Adelaide. I'd let my kids go, even though it'll probably make them a bit grumpy the next morning. But that's what it is. It's a bigger television audience on your jumpers.
All right.
Yeah.
Rude It's and Loz, Triple M.
This time every day we do our old rumours, and we've got a bit of confirming to do today. I dropped this one a little while ago. So one of the Triple M identities, national ones, not local, him and his son are going to be going on the Amazing Race. All right. And it come out over the weekend.
Very good.
Billy Brownless will be taking some time off work to do reality TV. He didn't say which one he's going to do, but I think we have a little bit of inside information there.
That'll be very entertaining.
Yeah.
Rumour confirmed.
Yeah, Billy, big Billy. And you know why he said he was doing it?
Why?
Because he wants the cash.
He's
very upfront. And more of them should be like that, because that's the only reason.
The only
they
problem
do
with
it.
that show is that the entertaining ones don't always win, because they have to win the challenge.
This is one where they go all over the world, isn't it?
They don't
chasing things and
other shows they get voted out, and so people keep the best ones in. But this one is like, if Billy doesn't make it to the checkpoint in time, he's out, which is a high risk.
He'll get
thing.
stuck at a pub. That's
that's what I mean.
We had a caller rumour as well.
I hear there's like a certain event coming up, sporting event, where there's this
beverage company distiller have made food-gradable shoes so they can put their beverage in the shoes to these people so they can do shoeies.
Well, we definitely saw plenty of those. Even the great white shark was having a shoey on the weekend.
last night, yeah.
Because it was a bit of an OHS thing where they were getting golfers to do it last year, but they were just drinking out of actual shoes.
Yeah.
And there is a sort of slight weird health risk with that, isn't there?
Well,
was it Danny Ricciardo that started all this, do you think?
I think it was.
Yeah.
But it started in pubs and at weddings.
Okay.
We're getting a reputation around the world.
Right.
For
Yeah,
shoeies.
because because it was an Aussie tradition, but then he started doing it, which is really
Okay.
weird.
Who was doing it before Ricardo, though?
Oh, mate, I have memories of 18th and 21st. And,
Oh, so that's where it's all started.
Yeah.
Right.
And people would do them off thongs too, so it's like the slider.
Yeah,
Like just,
okay.
yeah.
The slider.
The slider. All right, next we've got rumours. If you've got a rumour, give us a call on 133353, or you can text on 0488851047 on the Automasters text line. There's $1,000 up for grabs.
Yep, it's the rumour mill. All thanks to Automasters. AutoCam, real-time video reporting direct from your Automasters technician. It's Rude, it's Loz. Triple M.
AutoCam, real-time video from Automasters. Triple M's Rumour Mill, Adelaide's most listened to segment. Hear it every day at 7:40 on Roo, Dits and Loz.
Rumour time. Now, a lot of people would know about these, but it's worth mentioning them anyway. Look, I was privy to a conversation middle of last week. The golf will be in February next year. So that was talked about this year,
Well,
and it
not
didn't
the
happen.
end of April.
No, it'll be in February. And again, one of the issues will be, do we get 40-degree days or, things like that, weather like that when they want to play. But anyway, I'm really, really certain this time that it will be in February next year. So it'll be a lot earlier than April.
I'm not sure that's good.
And why? Because of the weather?
Because we've already
fringe.
got fringe and all that stuff on. Like,
Well, you got to fit in with the world calendar, don't you? It's not just, there are other events around the world. The other thing that
why don't
happened,
they have it in October, Dits?
that's a good question, Roo, but I suppose that means having it twice this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
Or we
just
could
to
have
get
it later
around it.
next year.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is the players apparently aren't that happy. They've had to just play the Masters, the biggest
Players want it
event,
in October.
the biggest event on the calendar for them as golfers, and then they had to fly straight here.
But then
play this one.
they go back to another major,
That's right.
apparently.
Yeah.
So it's
So
just
it's not
too
good
rushed.
timing. So anyway, look, I was privy to a conversation for two people very, very high up that would know and that run the thing.
Are they going to appreciate you just saying what you did?
Look, a lot of people are talking about it. So
Okay.
yeah. Now the other one is, and again, I know a lot of people know this, but the Grange Club members are being asked to vote on the future of this tournament. Can you believe it? As successful as it is, there are members down there that pay their membership and say, I don't want the tournament here. I want to play my golf. Like,
Oh,
How many?
get
How long can
serious.
they not
yourself.
play for?
say that again.
How long can they not play for?
I actually,
Honestly,
I'm
can
guessing,
you-
I think it's about a week. But you have modified,
my
so for the last few weeks, there were a couple of holes out of play. So
Mm.
one week I played, there were only 16 holes. But look, I'm a member and I love it. I think this is the greatest thing to happen ever. But
Would they give him a 152 discount?
what, rebate or something?
Yeah.
That might be talked about. I don't know. But the members are being asked.
How much does
now,
that cost a year Dits, to be a member down there?
4.5 if you're a full
4.5
member.
grand.
Yep.
So
But imagine.
Can you imagine
Yeah, but
being so selfish that you can't
well-
allow a global event that is just so good for our state,
Yep.
so important because you don't want to miss a week of golf, even though you could play at another course. There's other places you could play.
Yeah.
No, has to be my course. No, I'm going to stop
Anyway.
everyone's fun.
Righto.
And
Lost.
no one can have
There
fun
you
if
go.
I can't play golf for 1 week.
Glad I raised this. So the members are being asked.
Jeepers.
But imagine, I thought,
this stuff happens all the
but tell
time
me
with the
this, though.
minority. Listening to the minority happens
Just-
all the time.
But isn't the
Get
government locked
over
into a deal?
yourself.
Like, don't they have a contract? So
Pardon?
what would happen? I thought the government had this deal with Live Golf, that it is here and it is at Grange. So if the Grange members did vote it out,
Jeffrey and Trevor
I know.
to say about
what would happen?
Jeffrey and Trevor wouldn't be happy with cups of beer getting thrown around.
Look, I'm not
or
saying
music over the.
I'm not
golf.
saying it's good for the course's health or
No,
anything like
no.
that, but they can fix that up and
Yeah.
look. I mean,
Anyway, that's what's happening.
Lily Allen, famous British singer. She's had a couple of hits. I quite like Lily. She's very
Yeah.
brash, very brazen. I like her interviews. She's
Funny
very
lyrics.
straightforward. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's very funny. She's quite
Yeah.
cockney and, you
Yeah.
know. But she went on a podcast and she was talking about her kids and she mentioned people have just gone, what?
How old are her kids?
I think they're like 10 and 13. Let me just double check. She says that when she flies, they sit in economy and she sits in first class.
Well, kids can be annoying.
And I thought at first, I was like, oh, that's a bit rough. But
Handballing for someone else
Yeah.
to look after.
I mean,
Surely she has a minder or something with them.
I think probably. Yeah, I think probably. But I think, I don't know, it's probably, if we want to talk about old school discipline, maybe it's good for kids of famous people to have to do normal people things, you know? Not grow up, you know, sitting in first class all the time.
Yeah, I think if you're 5 years of age, you probably shouldn't be sitting in first class, should you?
It is a bit of a weird conditioning, isn't it? I find first class and economy very uncomfortable. It's very us and them. You look through the curtains and you
Class
see...
distinction.
It literally is a class distinction.
Yeah.
Like, we're better, you're worse. Like,
right.
it's just straightforward.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious. Like, economies are chairs
That's
are
everywhere in life,
crushed
though,
together.
isn't it?
It is, but it's just a very specific
There's a real
example of-
divide.
Can't go when you try and go to the toilet and they go,
Yeah.
Yeah. Down
No,
the back.
Yeah.
We don't want your economy poos in our first class toilet.
No.
It's very much like that. And
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting. But growing up, I
I
feel
like kids having to, earn their
Rough it.
time.
when you're young,
Yeah.
I was the
Anything.
youngest of four. I lived in hand-me-down. Like, you had to work your way up the pecking order to
Yeah.
get stuff.
You
know?
didn't care about hand-me-downs as a kid. I
I
did
loved
not care at all.
Loved hand-me-downs.
Kids don't care now either.
I
They
wanted to
love
wear
it.
my brother
They love
gear.
getting more clothes that are second-hand anyway because they get new clothes.
I mean, I didn't love wearing boy shorts and stuff, to school. Wasn't my favourite
Yeah, it's
thing
time
to
to
wear
stop.
boy shorts and
Yeah.
actual boy jocks as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with a baggy front.
We
Didn't
have
the-
age for the front seat in our kids sort of try and get away with it for maybe a couple of seconds and
Yeah.
then they only have to stare at them and
Right.
Tom's out of the front seat. Even if
Front
Rocco's
seat.
2 years older.
Remote control was like the big one. Like, older kids always had the control over the remote, the radio, the whole thing.
Fights over that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, mum and dad were in charge of everything, and then it was a pecking order for like my sisters and my brothers and me. But I did have a hack for getting the front seat of the car. Well, it wasn't a hack. But I vomited enough times from car sickness driving down Essex Hill
Wouldn't even
that they just went, oh, she's sick again, mum.
put the window down.
Yeah. So what do you reckon?
Back in the old days, parents used to get it fed first and then the kids afterwards.
Really?
Back in but now, we always, well, not always, but like at a normal dinner night, you give the kids their food and
Yeah.
parents second.
What
I
about a
thought-
kid's table? Did you have the kids' table off to the side with the little chairs and
No,
everything?
we're
No.
always at the same table.
Yeah, we're at the same
Still
table
are.
too. Yeah.
What else is there? Anything else?
No, that's probably all of it. Yeah, we've covered it all. Oh no, I was just going to say, do you think Lily Allen's done the right thing with the kids in the
I think-
economy?
I don't think she's done the right thing if there's not someone sitting with them. Because
Checking
that's
on 'em.
selfish.
Yeah.
And then other people have to look after their kids because two kids will fight.
Yeah, that's
Over
so
the peanuts,
true.
over a soft drink, over something, and they'll make noise and they'll do stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
I'm going to go out on a massive limb and say she's probably got a nanny with them
Yes.
or something, and
Yeah.
she
If
just
there's a
escapes.
nanny
Sounds
there,
like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
nearly okay.
Yeah. Not her
Svetlana's
problem.
taking care of
Not
them.
her
And, yeah.
problem.
So,
First day back at school today,
yeah,
the brand
it
new
is.
term.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely right. So they're back into term 2 for the year after a couple of weeks off. And the front page of the Advertiser today and on the TV screens that we're watching is old school rules are coming back. Kids taught to sit still and pay attention. They're winding the clock back because of the, I guess, the behaviour of some kids has slipped to the point where there's been assaults, both verbal and physical. Kids just, not being good students. And they're sick of it and they're going
Well,
to do something about it.
Here's a question. How do you discipline them? So let's say now they're going to start with, right, you've got to sit up in class, don't talk, pay attention. And the little kid goes, well, no, I don't want to.
What's the downside,
What
you
can
mean,
you,
for
no,
the kid?
what can you do? Because in our day, I would have got the strap or got detention or...
Face the wall,
you even
pick
got...
up papers at
yeah,
lunchtime.
all of that. So what can you do to kids
Write
now?
50 lines about
And the, all right, and the
must
kid then
behave at
says,
school.
no, I'm not writing 50 lines. This is the problem now.
That's
Ruth.
exactly what I was thinking before. Are they going to... They're not set up for it anymore.
No, they're not.
Well,
Loz, what's the answer?
Well, they get sent. They get sent to detention. They get sent to sit
You
in the
can get
library
detention,
on the weekend.
But I was scared, right? This is the difference. I was scared. So if the teacher said, I'm going to give you the strap or you'll get detention, I'd go, no,
Yeah.
don't do that, or I'll make sure I behave now. What I'm saying is that kids now go, well, give me detention.
So I never had the
won't turn
cane.
up.
I never had the cane when I was there. I just missed it, but I
Yeah.
still didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, I think there's ways, obviously, to encourage people to be non-antisocial members of society without violence being involved. I mean, we've got lots of issues with violence in homes right now, and I think teaching kids that violence is a way to get what you want or a way to get people to do what you want them to do is probably not the best message to send children. Also, teaching them that intimidation and fear is the only way to get what you want, I think, is also a problem. But I think we've gone too far the other way where we don't know how. Okay, so we've removed certain things that might be quite damaging to a child's brain, but we haven't replaced it with anything.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by obviously hitting a child or screaming at them or whatever to get them to do what you want can damage the way that their brains work and the way they think about themselves and the way they interact with other people. Although obviously they behaved after they heard that, it might not have helped them in the future be a sort of functional member of society. So we're trying to encourage children to not be, to not misbehave, to be respectful, to
Is
do all
it
that
too
stuff.
late for kids that are in year 8, 9, 10, 11?
Probably. I would have thought.
Well, good luck.
You can't
trying
just
to turn
change
a
the
kid
rules.
around.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's just, you have to start at
the
reception.
The wording here, right, old school discipline. But what? I'm just asking the question, what does that mean? How can we discipline kids now?
Well, this is a nationwide thing too, by the way. This is not here just in Adelaide or whatever. It's everywhere.
I'm just saying that the modern kid, you say, write 50 lines. The modern kid can go, well, I don't want to. And then I'll go and tell mum and dad and they'll stick up for me as well.
Well, this is the thing. It has to be consistent over the home and the school because you can have a teacher saying like...
Well, that's not going to happen,
This is the problem. And then the parent comes in and defends the kid because they love and believe their child, which a lot of people, do. But the thing about kids is that it's not always in the way they say it was. And
No. The teachers think they're overworked now. They're about to get a whole lot... Like whenever you try and change behaviour anywhere... a classroom, a workplace, a footy club, whatever. There's a bloody lot of time and effort and arguing about to happen for the next 6 or 12 months, isn't there?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be easy for the teachers. You're going to create a hell of a lot more work.
Old school discipline. Can this work? 133353.
Well,
what do you mean by old school? Like what is
teachers
the
out there, have you been
Teachers,
told about this? How's this going to be implemented? And parents, do you think it's required?
Well, they're saying here, sit still, pay attention for a start, which is what we were always told.
Yeah.
And so just simple, they're calling that old school discipline. I would have thought that was a given.
I mean, obviously sit still and pay attention. Like, I'm 33. It's been a while since I've been in a classroom. I guess things have changed a lot, but I cannot imagine that being old. Like, that is just a given.
Old school discipline. That's what they're talking about on day one of term 2. They all return today. And this is nationwide. They're talking about this. They want to instill old school discipline into our classrooms. Can it work? How would it work?
Yeah, it says here, a good one from Paul. Yes, back in the day, it was backed up at home, and that's where the discipline and character building needs to start. I think probably everyone's on the same page with that. Let's go to Westlake Shore. G'day, Tash. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with Paul. It's got to start from the home and not just from age 5. It starts from when they're little babies.
Yep.
Telling them not to touch something, giving them a consequence. But it's also love at the home as well.
Yep.
Giving them something when that reward as well, when they have done something good, not when they've done something bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they've done something wrong at school, it's got to be backed up at the home as well. So.
Yep.
I remember my boys are both becoming teachers, so this is going to influence their careers in the future. Do you know what I mean? And it's got to come from the home. And I'm not a perfect parent. I don't think any parent is, but most people that I know say your boys are beautiful boys. Do you know what I mean? Because they've had love and discipline at the home. So,
good on you, Tash.
Good combination. You get it both right, don't you? A bit of positive and a bit of negative. Let's go to Campbelltown. John, what do you think? Do we need a bit more old school discipline?
100%, Roo. I went to school in the 80s, and I remember, weeks on end having swollen hands from copping the cane.
Oh.
And I don't know about you, and I know we got to live in the life that we live right now, but I don't remember ever seeing kids not stand up on a bus in the 80s or 90s when an old lady got into the bus. Today you get on the bus and you see the behaviour of young kids, it's just, we've taken a whole 180. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know if it is in school. I agree with the last caller. It's got to be at home as well. But, you know, teachers need more freedom. They need to be able to serve discipline to kids that aren't there to learn and disrupt the rest of the kids that want to learn.
John, how many times do you reckon you got the cane when you're at school?
Oh, mate, our headmaster knew me by first name.
Have you turned into an aggressive thug at all because you got the cane?
No, because my old man used to sort me out at home as well. And I'm probably not the right person to say.
Are you against smacking kids and stuff like that?
No, and look, I know there's a line, but I think that if it's done properly, I think I've turned out fine. My kids have turned out fine, and they used to get smacked by both me and my wife. I think it's got to be, the punishment has to suit the crime. And if a kid is just a little turd full stop, then sometimes, discipline has to be brought in to fix that.
All right.
Good on you, John. Well done. Let's go. We've got an anonymous caller on the line. Hello, what would you like to say?
How you going? Yeah, look, I'm a teacher of about 30-odd years, and I agree with all the callers. What happens at home is really important, but in the classroom, what's important is you develop great working relationships with kids, and that's the hardest part. If you can get the kids on side, you don't need to worry about discipline. And it starts outside the classroom. As the article reads, you line them up, you bring them in, they stand behind their desk, they wait for instruction, and it sets the tone from the start of the year, and the kids start to respect, but you've got to reciprocate that respect, obviously. It's definitely two ways. But you do get the parent calling and going, well, that teacher's too strict. I don't want my kid in that classroom.
Yeah, right.
And you can't win.
Yeah.
Look, I think back to when I was at school, when I behaved sort of out of fear with some teachers, and then other teachers I behaved out of mutual respect. And I think that the classes where there was mutual respect, I did much better in those classes. I paid more attention. I was more excited to participate. The other class, I was quiet. I didn't disrupt people, but that's because I was panicked about getting in trouble. I think if you can develop that working relationship, as you were saying, obviously it's not going to work all the time, but if you have that connection with the student, they're going to want to behave because they don't want to let you down, and not just because they're afraid of you, but because they respect you. And I think maybe that's missing. I don't know, but...
On the text line, my wife is a teacher. It will never work just from school. Parents are stuffed. She reckons they just come in straight away if you tell them off. That's from a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, a couple of good calls there. We want to send Tash off to the footy?
Yeah, let's send her off.
Good on you, Tash. You can go to the showdown on Thursday night.
Oh, Joe Biden tried his hand at a little bit of comedy over the weekend. He was doing a press conference and thought he'd try and crack a few gags.
It's been a year since I delivered this speech, and my wife Jill, who's with me tonight, was worried how I do. I told her, don't worry, just like riding the bike. That's what I'm worried about. Of course, the 2024 election's in full swing. And yes, age is an issue. I'm a grown man running against a 6-year-old. Well, I feel great. I'm campaigning all over the country. Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina. I've always done well in the original 13 colonies.
Oh, no. I worry for the free world. I really do.
He's in charge of it.
He could have anyone writing his gags. That's what bothers me. And he's gone with that. It is just...
Well, I think he might have had someone write it, but...
No, there's just no way.
You reckon Joe's written his own?
No, I don't think Joe's written his own. I think the fact that he could have anyone in the world writing his jokes, and whoever he's chosen was the person who wrote those jokes. It's like,
good luck.
Sports Card World, the specialists in sports cards and trading card games. Sports Card World, Region Arcade, Rundle Mall.
Triple M breakfast with Rue Dits and Loz.
What a goal!
Overnight Sports.
Oh, the Crows thrashed North Melbourne by 57 points down in Tassie. Isaac Rankin booted 4 goals. Jordan Dawson won the Anzac Spirit Award. Rory Laird had a big day, 34 touches, 13 clearances. Luke Pedler out injured. Did you like the effort, Roo?
The effort was fantastic. They could have won by a lot more. They didn't kick straight and didn't take all their opportunities, but the coach was very happy with the improved effort.
I think we got back to what we stand for today. I think we know, what it is we value, and I felt we sat together post game, and that looked more like us. For 4 quarters, we got back to that pressure. That getting at the opposition, our contest. And so that was really pleasing to watch more of our DNA, more of the way we play footy.
Yeah, it certainly was a better performance, but it was against North Melbourne, and North Melbourne are struggling more than anyone in the competition. So they'll put it in perspective there. There's no doubt about that, but a confidence booster heading into the showdown.
All right, Thursday night showdown, the national stage for both of our teams now. Port Adelaide have got some issues. Sam Powell-Pepper will miss the remainder of the season, which is really sad. We know he had a slow start of the season with suspension.
He's had a horror year, full stop.
He has. So really, really sad for him. His ACL's gone. Connor Rozee in doubt as well. The captain, a bit of a hamstring strain.
Couldn't imagine he'd be playing.
Aliir out with concussion protocols as well.
Yep.
So a few issues for Port Adelaide. Despite the injury toll, Ken Hinkley very proud of his boys on Friday night.
Play with courage is what we needed to do right through to the end of that game and find a way to get over the line. Initially it was ourselves hurting ourselves with conversion, and then it became about us running into concrete walls a bit and hurting ourselves physically. So it's pretty proud of the boys to get that job done.
Yeah, big build up towards Thursday's
Interesting,
game.
Isn't it? With no Aliir, so that puts a bit more pressure on Radic, Aliir and Zerk Thatcher as the defenders down back. You'd think Ryan Burton would probably come back in. Finlayson, I think his suspension's finished. He'll probably come back in for second ruck, and maybe Evans might get a gig as well. So still good depth for Port.
All right, yesterday, Gold Coast beat West Coast by 37 points. Sydney hammered Hawthorn by 76.
Yeah.
After 7 rounds, Geelong top of the ladder. Who would have thought? Then the Swans, Giants, Demons, Power in 5th. Adelaide have improved to 12th. And yesterday, down at the Golf, American Brendan Steele held off a fast-finishing Louis Oosthuizen to win by 1 shot.
Thanks for checking out the Rudits and Loz podcast, driven by the Ford Ranger Raptor, inspired by desert racing. Ford Ranger Raptor has been developed by the Australian design and engineering team with Ford Performance DNA for true enthusiasts.